In addition to the Armenian occupation of a part of Azerbaijani territory, which continues despite condemnation from the international community and relevant United Nations resolutions, Azerbaijan has more than 1 million refugees and displaced persons. More than 250,000 of them came to Azerbaijan from Armenia. Besides having to leave their historical land, they faced mass killings, abuse and beatings. The history of the deportation of Azerbaijanis from their historical territories in western Azerbaijan spans centuries. First Armenian settlers came to this region in the 19th century, and this was followed by the displacement of the indigenous Azerbaijani population, which gained a wide scale over the years. 150,000 Azerbaijanis were deported from western Azerbaijan in 1948, 1953, and 250,000 in 1988. The drive to realize the absurd idea on establishing a monotheistic Armenia from sea to sea was fueled by growing hatred toward all other nations. Azerbaijanis faced the most hardship as they had sensed this horrid hate since their childhood.
As a Turk, they called us Turks. I had sensed their attitude since I was 5. Our neighbors, Armenians, wanted to kill my father. They were holding his throat and trying to strangle him. I was small at the time and couldn't figure out what they wanted from him. This was back in the 60s.
Sanubar Saralli, a refugee from Kirovakan, experienced all the horrors of the policy of ethnic cleansing pursued by Armenian nationalists. According to Saralli, the situation facing Azerbaijanis in Armenia was getting worse and worse year on year. From the mid-80s, Armenian nationalists, now with full support of the authorities, unleashed open standoff. Azerbaijanis began to lose their jobs, and their children were simply not allowed to attend school. Azerbaijanis could not buy food in stores and markets. Power supply and phone communication were being cut off in their homes. Water and gas supply was restricted. Armenian nationalists could easily attack Azerbaijanis on the street in broad daylight, sparing no women, children, or the elderly.
Once, I saw that an Azerbaijani, Telman Husseinov, was killed in Kirovakan. He was struck on the head by a crowbar. This was in 1988-89, and when he was killed, there was an Armenian there who was defending him, and that Armenian was also killed. 20 people from my family suffered from Armenian terror. They were both killed and captured.
Sanubar Saralli witnessed the atrocities of the Armenian nationalists. They did not conceal their crimes and also proudly talked about them in the media. In Spitak, the criminals banked up 80 Azerbaijani children in a pipe and set them on fire, showing particular cruelty to the weakest and innocent ones.
There was a mental institution close to Abovyan. The Armenians undressed mentally challenged men and women and burnt them with boiled water and gave their remains to a zoo to be eaten by animals.
Just like hundreds of thousands of other Azerbaijanis, Sanubar Saralli had to leave her home in 1988. In 1 week, all Azerbaijani villages were devastated and the property of Azerbaijanis was looted. In an effort to save her loved ones from Armenian militants, Saralli returned to Kirovakan 12 times, risking her life. Every time she witnessed new atrocities, she described the heinous crimes of Armenian thugs in her book titled The Stolen History, Genocide. The publication cites the numerous crimes, the history of ethnic cleansing, purposeful displacement of Azerbaijanis from their historical land, and the subsequent renaming of residential areas into Armenian geographical names. In order to convey the truth about the developments that occurred in western Azerbaijan for centuries to future generations, Sanubar Saralli wrote another book titled The Bloody Memory of the Turkic and Azerbaijani World, which is due to be published soon. Rustam Abdul Aliyev, CBC.